Let's move on to the last topic of the day, and it's going to be surrounding Harry Kane and that sending off on the on Monday night. There's been a lot of abuse coming Harry Kane's ways, calling him a cheat, calling him over-the-top things from pundits, from fans on social media. Obviously, Spurs fans have leapt to the defence of Harry Kane, as we usually would. But we'll start with you, Ariane. Did Harry Kane cheat by going down the way he did against Everton?
I can name you about 97 different dives off the top of my head alone that were a million times worse than what Harry Kane got clawed in the face. And here's the thing with going down. If Harry Kane didn't go down, Doucouré might have gotten a yellow. And VAR wouldn't have looked at it. That's the fact. As a player, you have to go down, right? Because the way these refs are also, they would not have even, they just wouldn't have. You have to make a meal of it. And there's one thing making a meal of nothing, and there's one thing to bring attention to what was a red card offense. If Harry Kane had taken a yellow card offense and made it a red by going down and making a meal of it, fine, I can sit down and say, yeah, that was a little bit scummy. But he didn't do that. He got clawed in the face for, I don't even know what the whole fight was with Doucouré, just some challenge or whatever. And
I think he hit the ball into someone and then Doucouré got angry.
And yeah, that's just a red card. And we were like, oh, well, it's a red card, but he shouldn't have gone down. Well, if he didn't go down, he wouldn't have gotten the red card, so there wouldn't have been justice. And that's a fact. We know that as Tottenham fans, that just wouldn't have happened because the ref wouldn't have seen it, the VAR wouldn't have checked it, nothing would have happened. And I can, you know, where's outrage for when, whoa, oh my God, I'm throwing it back here, but this still pisses me off, even though it wasn't really that deep because we won the game anyway. Sheffield United away. Was it away, was it? Or was it at home? Doesn't matter. And Lo Celso got, like, stomped in the face. Does anyone remember that? Lo Celso got stomped in the face by one of the... You look down, something in the face, nothing. But that's a foul here. Let's talk about dive. Arsenal this season. I'm going to use Arsenal because I hate them, obviously, even though they do deserve their league position. What was it? Gabriel Jesus' dive against Liverpool? We all remember that. He got nicked in, his sole of his foot, and he went down like he had just been sniped. Even this week, he got touched in the knee, and he went down and got a penalty. Where is the mention of that? Where is the, oh, well, it's a penalty.
Only in that game alone, Damari Gray took a dirty dive. In that game alone, Damari Gray took a dive.
Exactly, with no touch at all, actually.
Yeah.
So, yeah, in the penalty box as well. So, yeah. I mean, for me...
Yeah, I don't even...
Yeah, like I would say, I would ask you guys, if Kane doesn't fall down, is it a red card?
I think it is, but for me, I think that it was a red card.
I do believe any hitting of the face is a red card, a straight red card. That's
especially
the rule.
Like Dembele got a 6-game ban for doing something similar.
Yeah. So, yeah, but I would say, like, the rule is a minimum of a straight red card if there's any physical hitting of the face or something like that. And so it's a red card. So there's nothing to be cheated. Did he overact? Did he dive afterwards? Maybe, you know, that's on players to also judge that situation, whether it's needed to create the attention around it, whatever. Is Harry Kane really good at trapping players into free kicks and stuff like that? Yes, masterful at that. But he's certainly no Bruno or Rashford or any of these dive kings in the league. You know, like he's quite average in that regard. I think this one, yes. I think, to be honest, I think what probably made people react so strongly is that we're not used to seeing Kane go to this extent of theatrics, which he did give it a little bit extra this time for sure, you know. So and that's made, and you know, we're used to Kane being so by the book and the way things are supposed to be and so on, you know. So it was a little bit unusual seeing him doing that, but for it to be cheating, he should have gotten a judgment that's not right. And he got the right judgment, so there's no talk of cheating, you know. If he stood there and laughed in his face, it's still a red card. The question becomes then, would the referee realize this, what happened and the seriousness of the situation? Maybe not. So Kane doesn't chance it. He goes down, as you should do, of course, every time.
There was a study done when during the World Cup, and it was about social media abuse, and it researched which Premier League player gets the most abuse online from accounts. And the study found that Harry Kane was the player who is the most abused player in the Premier League. Now, this is the England captain, record England goal scorer, has done pretty. This is a guy who isn't caught like cheating on his wife or at the club at 3 a.m. lying drunk. Role model. Why is he so hated? Why do accounts always fuel hate from a player like Harry Kane? And when things like this come up, like he's vilified for being the villain of the piece, when Decore, no one talks about Decore clawing him in the face or anything like that. He's a hero apparently, but Kane for getting the referee to make the right decision, he's the villain. And for the last few years, there's been a clear pattern of Kane just being vilified by fans, especially English fans. Why do you think that is?
But you know what, Sim? It's not just fans as well. It's the media. It's the media as well. Because name me one other player that has been forced to watch a potential dive in a post-match interview after the game. I mean, that was ridiculous what they had to put Harry Kane through in that post-match interview. I mean, there's been so many bigger divers in the Premier League that haven't been even talked about. It's crazy.
But why isn't he loved? Like, he's England captain, role model professional, top England goal scorer. Why isn't he loved?
Yeah.
I mean, look. Yeah, sorry, Aaron, you go.
Oh, yeah, because like I'm an American, right? I'm not English, and for me, like, I don't really support the U.S. men's national team because I support a different national team. But I see here people love all of the United States. Like, there's not really a player here that people just hate, especially the captain, Pulisic, who's been not fantastic, but he's fucking adored, right? And you have literally the greatest striker on the planet right now, role model, like you said, nothing done right. In my mind, I'm like, English fans should be all over this guy. I don't really understand it as like an outsider looking in. What is all the hate about?
Ariane, this is
confused me a lot, and it's not even like it's not from Arsenal fans, right?
This is what we do in this country.
Like your own media outlets, your own news. I don't understand.
I don't understand it either.
Like,
I've lived in this country.
What I would give to have Gabriel Jesus watch back his dives? Do you have any idea what I'd give to watch like Jesus watch back his dives, Nketiah watch back his dive against us last season in that 3-0 win? Like, I would give the world just to see one of them do that. But instead, Harry Kane goes down. I don't even remember the challenge, and I don't frankly care because it probably wasn't nearly as bad as what like Jesus did against Liverpool, and that yielded a result. By the way, they won the game because of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't understand it either, but it's what we do in this country. It's what the media like to do in this country. They did it to Bex, they did it to Rooney, they're doing it to Kane, they've done it to others in the past. I mean,
yeah, but Rooney had things to criticise.
Yeah,
Kane, there's nothing to criticise with Kane.
But why do the media feel like they need to do that to England captains and England national team as well, going into every national tournament? There's no need.
I think I understand it, guys, but I don't agree with it at all. But it is exactly this unique English dynamic, where allegiances are always club first and country second. But then you take now all of the fans that have watched Kane murder their team throughout the years, and now their hopes are riding on Kane's shoulders to put in that winner in the semi-final and whatever. And and then they're in his camp as long as it's going all right. As soon as it goes sour, the hate and vitriol from the Premier League comes back into it, and that takes over, and I do really, I mean, I've seen players talk about the level of cohesion always being less in the English squad. I don't think this is true now of this generation. Historically, has been less than in other national teams, because of their allegiance to their clubs, because of their club relationships, so it's very uniquely English. There's so many things that are uniquely English. It's really weird. You could go on and on about all kinds of unique English things. How come We have by far the richest league in the world, and we've got refereeing that hardly can keep up to Icelandic standards, you know, let alone the biggest and richest league in the world, you know. And how come, you know, like I've talked about Tottenham being maybe the most English club, and the manners and niceness and stuff like that, which we all love and is important about English culture. It's one of the things that made the United Kingdom the great place that it is. But there's a backside to it, which is this passion, this mentality, and so on, you know. And I think in terms of, you know, in terms of, even though I hate Arsenal fans here in Iceland, and I believe me, I'm surrounded by the fuckers all the time. It's nothing like actually being in the neighborhood, being, you know, or being on the south side of Manchester, and like whatever the divides are in the country. And I think as soon as things start going sour with the national team, these allegiances come front and center, you know. But I also think there's also another element, because he is such a squeaky clean, nice family guy, you know. I also think that in general provokes more hate in people often, you know, which is like Kane, maybe like when you have a nice stand-up citizen, and you're maybe not doing the best things in your life, you're maybe not as squeaky clean and as well living as such a person, the reflection of him triggers you, you know. I can give an example. Like you see it, for example, often I've seen it in my line of work, the few times that I've seen, for example, a very Christian person working in film or stuff like that, you know. And most of the film crew are if not drunks, then they're you know, former drunks or whatever. And like it's a almost kind of like a pirate lifestyle, you know. So and I've seen situations where this upstanding Christian moral person really triggers the hell out of a lot of people without even doing anything, simply by not partaking in the various stuff. And I think people can feel that way about Kane, especially. It's kind of like, oh, he thinks he's better than us, you know. Look at that, you know. And then they
want to find an excuse to basically point and say, see, he's not so perfect. Basically.
Exactly. Look, that guy, he's not as honest. He's not this stand-up. Look at how you know. And like Mane has had a lot of that hate, I think, as well, you know, because Mane was quite good at diving, to be honest, you know. So he definitely did. We know of one situation, for example, that we can point to, but I also think the thing about Mane being this very religious, morally, you know, morally projecting guy, without trying to put it on to other people, but just everybody knowing that he's not just a geezer like anybody else, that kind of triggers a lot of the fan base, you know. And also, to be honest, guys, I just think like in the bad moments, we really shouldn't take it too seriously, even though it's bad. I'm not saying it's not bad, but people just lose their shit so much, you know, and it's so many years of frustration and disappointment that maybe gets released in one moment, you know, one missed penalty and stuff like that, you know. So I try to not be too harsh on the people, even though I absolutely condemn it. I've said it with our squad, for example, like, what's the point of getting on the back of individual players? They're just who they are, you know. If they're not good enough, we should be looking at Levy. Why is Levy not providing us with better players, you know? So
100% spot on. And I've made that argument for Eric Dyer multiple times. Like, I hear people around me calling Eric Dyer this, calling Eric Dyer that. I was like, why are you getting angry at Eric Dyer? I mean, that's what Eric Dyer is. Get angry at the people that are keeping him at this club.
Yeah, I mean,
so Kane
to be honest,
because of Levy. That's why. I knew it.
Great way to spin it back. That was sensational.
I mean, I also don't think we should be putting them into like we shouldn't be sheltering them either. I mean, talking to Eric Dyer, I've called him a few things through the years.
So have I, to be honest.
We all are.
That's fine for me. That's okay. Maybe I'm just justifying myself. But when it gets like with Emerson earlier this year and stuff like that, that's really not okay in my book, you know, for so many reasons. You know, when it basically gets to be bullying, like sustained bullying, that's a different kettle, you know. But I do think they're grown boys, and they should hear once in a while that it's not good enough, and they should just take those nicknames that they get along the way as well, you know.
It's got philosophical so quickly.
Yeah, we can safely say, look, you can bully Harry Kane off the pitch all you want, but just be prepared to be bullied on the pitch, and that's what we'll leave it to.
Exactly, and that's why Harry Kane, once again, another part of Harry Kane that's outstanding is that you can exactly attack him like this, and he will not engage. He will make his feet talk, you know, and that's what's needed in all of life. It's needed a lot more in this club, you know. But you know, don't listen to what people say. Look at what they do. That's my advice, at least.
Absolutely.
You know, so, yeah.
But I think we'll end it there, guys. So thank you very much for coming on, Ariane, Jory. Thank you so much for coming on to your first panel show. Thank you. Hopefully we'll be able to invite you back soon. But that's all we have time for today.